Razer's BlackShark V2 Pro White Edition, the 2023 version to be precise. And yes, I know I'm about a year late to the party here, but the BlackShark V2 Pro still seems to be one of the most promising and competitive headsets Razer's ever made, and a bunch of you are still buying it. But should you? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Right after I let you know that if you want to support the channel and the work I do here, just keep watching the video. Or if you want to pick up anything featured on my channel, feel free to use my affiliate links in the description down below. It costs you nothing, but helps me out a bunch. Now, as I mentioned, this is the 2023 update to the original BlackShark V2 Pro, a detail that's pretty easy to miss if you're not looking closely, since Razer's not doing a whole lot to differentiate the two, at least not on the surface. Even though both headsets look nearly identical in almost every way, the updated version we're working with today ships with some major upgrades, including USB-C charging, a battery rated for up to 70 hours, the addition of Bluetooth, and most importantly, a much improved mic. But we'll dig deeper into all of that in just a bit. First, let's take a closer look at this thing. Inside the box, we have the headset itself in all of its blindingly white, for now glory, complete with a volume dial, a mic mute button, and a button for switching between EQ presets and connectivity modes. Then a matching white 2.4 GHz dongle in USB-A flavor, a 1.5 meter USB-A to C charging cable, and another generous 1.5 meter USB extension cable, both braided and clearly very high quality. Then potentially the star of the show, Razer's hyper-clear super wideband mic, complete with white accents on both ends and a little windscreen to cut down on some of your horrendous mouth breathing. You know who you are. Oh, and I definitely didn't forget to film it or anything, but there are stickers and some documentation at the bottom of the box too. Trust me, bro. As for the headset itself, man, this thing is gorgeous. In my last video, I think I said something about starting to get over my appreciation for white parts and peripherals, and now I'm pretty sure I was lying because I love the look of this thing. I've been daily driving a bulky all black headset for a couple of years now, and compared to that, the V2 Pro is like a breath of fresh air. It's minimalist in all of the right ways, while still including more than a few little details that keep it from looking drab. The matte white finish on the ear cups is flawless, broken only by the Razer logos, and the rounded ear cups with soft edges make it look distinctly ungamery. Something that also applies to the headband, with its very classy looking faux leather finish that feels just as good as it looks, depressed Razer branding that you can just barely make out, and precision stitching on the side. This really is a stylish headset, one that I wouldn't feel weird about wearing out in public, something I definitely can't say for most gaming headsets, including my own. The only thing I'm a bit iffy about is the exposed wiring and steel frame connecting the ear cups in the headset. While it's a fairly unique look, the sleekness and tidy vibe of the rest of the headset make these areas seem a little like an afterthought by comparison. And I think the headset just looks a little bit fragile because of it too. And speaking of fragile, I'm well aware of the customer reviews out there claiming that the hinge parts on some headsets have broken apart from apparent regular use. But from my own experience with the headset over the past month or so, I haven't experienced anything even remotely like that. In my experience, the headset has been perfectly solid. Even with plastic being the primary ingredient here, none of the plastic parts feel particularly fragile. And even though the hinge and exposed steel frame look fragile, it all feels very sturdy. Even before learning about the negative reviews, I subjected the V2 Pro to my usual stress testing, bending and extending the headset more than any normal customer would, and there wasn't a sound, a snap, or anything to hint at the headset being pushed beyond its limits. That being said, if you do experience anything close to what's being claimed in those negative reviews, you should absolutely book a return or an RMA, because that would be entirely unacceptable. Just like it would be unacceptable for a gaming headset to be uncomfortable to wear for hours on end. And luckily that's not the case. From what I've seen, the original V2 Pro was one of the comfiest headsets around, which is probably why Razer only made relatively minor tweaks to the updated version. And the result is a pretty dang comfy headset. The V2 Pro weighs in at around 320 grams, which isn't exactly the lightest wireless headset around, but more than light enough for me to almost forget I'm even wearing it. A feeling aided a lot by the soft but just firm enough memory foam Razer used for the ear and headband cushions, both of which are surprisingly breathable. It was about 36 degrees here the other day, and switching from my main headset with the leatherette ear cups to the V2 Pro was a revelation. The headset also allows for some pretty generous adjustments, like using the sliders to tighten or loosen its grip, and there's a decent amount of swivel to the ear cups too to dial in a good fit. The clamping force is also somewhat well balanced, with most of the pressure being spread equally across the entire ear cup rather than any single point. This, along with the soft ear cushions, also mean that the headset is comfortable for glasses wearers like myself. I felt no difference in comfort between wearing my glasses or going commando. Unfortunately, unlike most of the other reviewers who've looked at the V2 Pro, I didn't find it to be one of the coziest headsets I've ever used. I never really thought I had bigger ears, but now this headset has me feeling a little touched. While my ears fit into the ear holes, it's a somewhat tight fit, making me feel the need to adjust the headset about every 30 minutes so my ears don't push up against the sides of the cushions too much. On top of that, I found the ear holes to be relatively shallow too, with there being zero distance in some spots between my ears and the driver walls, causing some very minor strain. This is something Razer clearly tried to account for, since there's a layer of foam covering said walls, but it's not quite enough for my apparent Dumbo ears. I think slightly thicker ear cushions, more padding on the walls, or even some minor tweaks to the V2 Pro's clamping force would probably solve most of my issues. But then again, as I mentioned before, other reviewers didn't seem to share these issues, so unless your ears are as sensitive and humongous as mine clearly are, you'll probably be just fine. There's also the danger that messing around with any of that could take away from one of the headset's major selling points: audio quality. The V2 Pro features Razer's Triforce titanium drivers measuring in at 50mm with an impressive frequency response range and a sensitivity of 100 decibels, none of which guarantees that the headset will sound great, but they should help. And they do. When I first got my hands on the thing, I was working on a couple of videos, capturing B-roll and running what felt like endless benchmarks, and as soon as I put the headset on, I didn't want to take it off. I fired up all the albums I'd been obsessed with recently, got through 3 audiobooks, shout out Atomic Habits, and if I was disappointed by how any of it sounded, I can't remember it. Before even digging into any EQ settings, this headset sounds incredible. And not just in a good for a gaming headset kind of way. Low bass frequencies are thumpy, punchy, and precise, mids are well defined and crunchy, highs are clear and bright, and vocal clarity is exceptional. I mean, I could almost make out what Will Ramos was screaming about in Lorna Shore. Almost. As great as it is, the headset does have a certain subtle character to its sound, one that I enjoy a fair bit, but might not appeal to everyone else. Bass frequencies aren't overly prominent, and some of the high frequencies do take center stage a bit more than some other headphones. They might even come off as a little harsh at high volumes. Luckily, with the help of the equalizer built into Synapse and a minute of tweaking, you can iron out pretty much any issue. The 3 main EQ presets will be more than good enough for most people, and being able to switch between them and your own custom EQ with a single press of the button on the right ear cup is a huge plus, especially since they're saved on device. A much bigger plus is something I haven't even touched on yet in this gaming headset review: gaming. The majority of the marketing for the BlackShark V2 Pro is focused on esports, and for good reason. Gaming, especially competitive FPS titles, is where the V2 Pro shines the brightest. Again, even before touching a single EQ slider, the headset excels when it comes to positional audio. Of course, the soundstage isn't quite as wide as you'd get with an open-backed headset, but still. Whether the enemy is above you, behind you, healing a few rooms away, using an item outside the window, or shooting someone halfway across the map, you'll hear it and you'll know exactly where it's all coming from. It's awesome. And if you're playing against people with worse headsets, you have a pretty huge advantage right there. One that grows even larger when you dig into the game-specific EQ presets that Razer developed in collaboration with esports pros. I especially love that Razer includes labels for the frequency ranges according to what they correspond to in-game, making it easy for anyone to customize even further, even if they have no idea how EQs work. And now it's time to dive into the headset's other major headliner, that new and improved hyper-clear super wideband mic. The mic is detachable, as I'm sure you've gathered by now, is unidirectional, and is plenty sensitive with a great frequency response range. And it sounds a little something like this. Raw with no audio enhancements or tweaks turned on, using only the flat EQ preset. And as I'm sure you can tell already, this ain't your average wireless gaming headset mic. I'd wager that it sounds better than 95% of wireless gaming mics out there, and better than a lot of wired ones as well. It captures my voice much more naturally, retaining a lot of warmth in the low frequencies, while also keeping highs and mids nice and crunchy too. And here's a quick comparison to my GSP 670, also a wireless headset. And as you can hear, it doesn't sound bad, but it does lose out on a lot of the richness of my voice, and it also sounds a little bit compressed. And now my GSP 370. A big step up compared to the 670 in terms of voice quality, as well it should be since it's a wired headset. I think between this and the BlackShark V2 Pro, It's a pretty close call, but I'll give it to the BlackShark just because it retains more detail and a lot more fullness to my voice. And now we're back to the V2 Pro. While I won't be demoing all the tweaks and settings in Synapse since this video is getting pretty long already, I will say that the EQ presets are a nice touch for quickly switching between situations. The voice gate does exactly what you need it to even on just the lowest setting, and the normalization and clarity enhancements are just fun to play around with. Oh, and the noise cancellation does do the job, more or less, but it has some trouble cancelling out irregular sounds like my loud-ass mechanical keyboard. Man, a gaming headset mic that has even my dedicated Sennheiser mic lifting an eyebrow. All I can say is kudos, Razer. I don't know what kind of black magic you used here, but good job. So, somehow Razer managed to take outstanding gaming audio quality, even better mic quality, a bunch of wireless functionality, handy features, and stuffed it all into a somewhat cozy, very attractive gaming headset. Where's the catch? Well, normally with Razer products commanding a bit of a premium, that would be pricing. But this time, I'm not sure if that's the case. It definitely applied a lot less a couple of days ago when I saw the headset selling for around $175. And now that it's back up to $200 or, holy crap, 5,700 Rand here in South Africa, it's still a little iffy. On the one hand, at that price point, the BlackShark V2 Pro has some pretty strong competition to contend with, including the likes of SteelSeries, Corsair, and Logitech. It also puts it in range of non-gaming headsets with potentially even higher audio fidelity. But then again, I'm not finding a price competitive challenger that brings as much to the table as the BlackShark does. I think Razer has a real winner on their hands here, and I think a $200 asking price is relatively fair, even if it does include a bit of the usual Razer tax. Now, if only it could drop back to $175. Yeah. And that about wraps it up for this video. If you liked it, hit that button and get subscribed. Oh, and remember to use my affiliate links down below if you want to grab anything mentioned in this video and help the channel out while you're at it. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.